What is going on, my Atomic Cycle Works friends? Today, we're working on, not a motorcycle, we are working on a snowmobile seat, and we're gonna show you how to repair the foam, put a provided seat cover on it, make it look pretty, and get her done. So I'm actually gonna have to do this old school with the tripod. What's funny is cameraman Lewis is actually working on a car, which is why he's here, and loves it. Came over to grab one of the tripods out of the podcast studio, and I told him not to. So I gave him our mobile tripod, and then I have to grab the tripod out of the podcast studio and use it. So if he comes over, he's probably gonna make some snide comment about it. And I have to clean up this workbench first. All right, so let's see what we have here. This is seen some better days. I'm gonna pull it apart. Got a lot of rusty staples underneath here to move out. And then we'll put the new cover on, which is right here, right? Nope, that's not it. The new cover we have over here. Okay, so I'm going to begin the tedious journey of removing a million staples. They're hard enough when they're not rusty. When they're rusty, they're a real pain because they break, and you really want to get them completely on so you don't cut your fingers. Okay, so it looks like we got all the staples out. Take this cover off. So if you're wanting to learn how to remove staples, we actually have videos on how to remove staples. Simple, but there's a lot of tricks that you need to know before you do it. And we kind of did a video showing how to remove staples. So if you were to go work for a place, you would understand a little bit more why and how to remove a staple properly without causing damage to the covers and all that. So please take a look at that. This here you can see, so we have a piece of foam that we have to repair here, pretty messed up here and over here. So these ones are actually the tough ones to repair. Whenever we do foam repairs, I personally like to cut it out, square it up, and put a foam in there. A lot of times if you put a piece of foam and glue it and then shave it, the foam kind of wants to go back to its original shape. So it'll look good now, but it could move or change. This one here, I'm actually this one has to be filled. This one we're gonna shave down. This one we're gonna fill, and then we're gonna put a thin 1/4 inch foam over the entire seat. That'll get all the edges to look better and all these areas that are kind of messed up to look a lot nicer. I just went through and put a 1/4 inch foam on the seat. And what I do is I splice it right where the seams are going to be. This way, if the foam has any imperfections, it's actually underneath the seam. A lot of people won't put this foam on there, and it can cause problems. If the seat cover is like really tight and then you put a foam on here, it could expand the foam. So then now your seat cover is actually a little bit smaller. Because if you think about it, a 1/4 inch on each side is actually a 1/2 inch bigger, and then you got a 1/4 inch on the top. So it starts to actually magnify and make the seat a lot bigger. But because we shaved off the top surface where the foam was messed up and repaired it, we had to put something across there. And by lowering the foam and then adding this 1/4 inch foam, it's pretty much right back at the same height. So now I'm just gonna go through and put our seat cover on there. So this is the cover that came in the kit. I'm just gonna toss it up, make sure it's close. Now, some people will put plastic down because it makes the cover move around a lot easier. And it does make the job go by a little faster and easier, but the problem is I hate it because what it ends up doing is traps moisture. And then your seat smells horrible. Okay, so I put my foot in my mouth on this one, and I actually went farther than I was supposed to without filming. When I first took the cover out, I go, oh, wow, this is actually really nice material. It's thicker than most of the material is. It has nice grain to it. And then I go, oh, shoot. With the added foam, even though it's pretty close to the original size and a thick cover, it's going to be a bear to put on. This one is a nightmare to put on. It's literally almost made to size, so it's hard to get it around the corners. And with that little tiny bit of foam added, it's a lot tougher. And without using the plastic, which I hate, this does not move. So it's a little bit of a fight. So what I'm doing is I'm heating it and getting it really hot. And if you actually look, you can see that that's the edge of the seat. This is where the material is. And we have to get this to wrap around here by about an inch on the other side. So I got this side close, temporary. I put some temporary staples in there, and you can see right here is like really close. So what I like to do is go around, get everything done, then I'll come back and I'll massage this around and get it a little bit farther. But this way it's close to where it needs to be right now. So let's get this hot and stretch it. And this is gonna be a fight. I could tell. I could tell. If I could get this corner wrapped around here, then we'll be doing pretty good. I put a staple in the center. I centered it, put a staple in the center here. Same thing with the rear, got that centered. This way you know your starting point. Because a lot of times if you don't do your center, you could literally pull this cover all the way over here, staple it, and then have to pull it over the other side and not have enough room. And one of the common mistakes people make when they put a seat cover on is they don't do their center first. They pull it over, and then when they staple it, they'll actually staple really far up. And then you'll have to move the seat over, and all your staple holes will now show. So you always want to start from the center and work your way out. Oof, this material does not want to move, I'll tell you that. Usually it's a very thin, cheap material they do these in, so you heat it up and it stretches a lot. I'll tell you what, this was supposed to be more of a product review, tool review of a seat cover. I thought we were going to be getting one of the overseas seat covers, but this one actually is from Saddlemen, and they make good products. This actually, the reason this video sucks is because when I started this, like I said, the material is very good. The stitching was good. The material quality was exceptional because it's so much better than all the stuff you get overseas. The problem that I had was adding that extra foam that we did on here, gave it a little bit more cubic inches, square footage, and so the cover's tight as it goes on, which I normally really like because they stretch. This one isn't super stretchy. It's not stretchy at all. Heating it allowed it to move a little bit more, but not like normal. So it's a very durable, strong material. And then because the seat cover itself is basically how it used to be, it's cut exactly the way it would be to go on. So if you want it to come around 3/4 of an inch and staple it, that's how they made it. Whereas most of the covers come like 2 or 3 inches big, and that has its pros and cons. So yes, it's nice to have the extra material, but it leaves a lot of issues when people put these on because they don't really know where the seat cover goes. Because if you think about it, if you have 4 inches of material all the way around it, you could try to center it, but where are you centering it to? Front, back, left, right. So it gets a little tricky sometimes, whereas this one, you knew exactly where it needed to be. It was just a nightmare getting in it, and I apologize that I didn't actually video a lot of the actual going together because I was swearing and I was pretty upset because it was very tough to get this thing to pull. Like I said before, I don't like putting plastic on motorcycle seats or jet ski seats or snowmobile seats or anything because I like the water to just run through it, go out and dry, and not get that mildewy, musty, gross smell. But it ends up putting a lot more work on you. So if you're doing this at home, you're gonna have to, and I say have to, put plastic down. And if you don't know what I mean with plastic, underneath this cover, a lot of times you'll pull a cover off and there's actually like a thin plastic that goes around the whole foam. And people think that's just there for moisture, but it's actually there. So when you put your cover on, you could adjust it and move it around. And when you get a bigger cover like this, like a snowmobile, a jet ski, the big seats, you have a lot of material to pull across that foam, and the foam sometimes gets grippy. So when you're trying to pull your material, the foam's moving with it. So as you pull it, it'll spring back. What you'll see, like, I don't know if there was any video of me slapping this, but a lot of times what you'll do when you're doing upholstery is you'll pull your material and then you slap it, right? So if you imagine you're pulling the material, but it's also pulling the foam. Now when you slap it, it slides the material away from the foam bounces back, so the material goes exactly where you want it. So when you let go, it's not going to want to spring all the way back, and it also allows you to get a lot more tighter. So I am actually exhausted on this one. This one was a kind of a kick in the tail, but it's a, like I said, it's a great product, great material. I don't have any problems with the material. It's actually better than what we are used to getting when people, provide us with the seat cover that we don't make from scratch. Like if we were to make the cover here, we use a higher grade material just like they did. This is a very nice material. It's a little shiny now because there was a film of something on the seat and I wanted to get it off. So I used like a mineral spirits to just try to get it off, which it did, but it's a little shiny. So now what I'll do is I'll just put dish soap on it, and the dish soap will get rid of any shininess of the... I'm exhausted. I can't even do this. I shouldn't even do this video. I'm trying to do this video, and I'm like, oh, why am I doing this video? Because I just butchered it up. But reality is reality. If you're doing this one at home, it's going to be a little bit of a bear without a big bear without plastic. But if you use plastic, go ahead. Oh, we also use stainless steel staples around the whole bottom of this because you don't want to use steel. Like I said in the beginning of this one, when we were removing the staples, they were all rusty and broken and jagged and crappy. With the stainless, you're not going to have that as long as it's a good grade stainless. A cheap stainless does actually sometimes rust. But anyway, here's the seat. Saddlemen, good review. This seat probably wasn't the best one to give a review on their material with, but here it is.